Hey guys, today I'm filming my March favorites and product updates for 2018. I don't have too many products to share with you today, but I have some good favorites nonetheless. So my first two favorites would be two different peachy eye looks, and I did wear these eye looks in a couple of different videos, so I will have those linked up in the card so you can see how these eye looks actually look on me. The first look is actually I'm wearing on my eyes today. So on my lid, I was using the ColourPop Super Shock Shadow in Just for Fun, a beautiful peachy pink with a bit of a gold shimmer throughout. This has a metallic finish. I believe this was a limited edition shade. However, this isn't that unique of a color overall, and that is what I had on my lid. Then for my transition and crease color, I went with a really nice warm tan, but not too orangey. So for my transition color, I use Anastasia Birkin, a really great light peachy tan. And for my crease, I use Anastasia Bengal. This is in the Tamana palette, but you can also buy this shade individually, and this is just a little bit darker, but it is still that warm caramel brown. And I love those shadows together. They're some of my favorite transition and crease colors, but I decided that I wanted to see how Just for Fun would look when I paired it with some of my Project Pan shadows, which is what I'm doing today, and I think it works really well. Not quite as warm, but I'm definitely happy with the way the look turned out overall, and I'm getting more use out of my Project Pan shadows. So those would be Makeup Geek Bake Sale, which is the transition shade, and Tan Lines, which is the crease color. So I've been loving those as well, and just the overall look that it creates. And then my second look was using two MAC shadows that are definitely more peachy than in the previous look. On my lid, I was using MAC Expensive Pink, which is a beautiful pink coral with a strong golden shimmer. Compared to Just for Fun, you can see Just for Fun is a lot lighter and more pink and almost a little tiny bit more silver, and this one's more gold. So you can see there is a good amount of difference between those two shades. And for my transition color, I was using Free to Be, which is a matte pinky coral. And then I used Anastasia Bengal in my crease to help ground the look so it wasn't too pink, and that beautiful warm brown paired really nicely with those. And again, I really enjoyed that overall look. I love MAC shadows. They don't get as much hype as they used to, but I would definitely recommend buying them in the pan version instead of the pot. It's a lot cheaper, but for some reason I also feel like the pan versions are more pigmented, softer, and just easier to apply. And I did have a favorite blush this month. This is theBalm Frat Boy. I think the packaging is so cute and vintage. theBalm makes some of the most amazing cheek products, and Frat Boy is a matte peachy pink color. Absolutely stunning. One of my top 10 blushes of all time. theBalm blushes are super pigmented. They can be very powdery, but they don't appear that way on the skin, and they blend really nicely, but you will need a light hand because they're super pigmented. But I was just happy to be wearing that again. And then I do have one lip color, and this is in my current Project Pan, which I will have that playlist linked up above. And this is the MAC Sheen Supreme lipstick in Asian Flower. This is such a beautiful lavender color, and it looks super purpley in the tube, but on my lips it shows a lot more of that pink, which is nice because it makes it a bit more wearable for every day, because I have been wearing this to my internship as well. I love this formula. Super similar to Revlon Lip Butters, but even better because it gives you even more color payoff. It's a little bit thicker of a formula, which means it is a lot longer lasting, but it's super comfortable. It has a beautiful glossy finish, which makes your lips look fuller, and it does stain the lips a bit, which I like because I think it makes the color fade a lot more gracefully. And I'm just so disappointed that this line was discontinued because this is one of my favorite lipsticks of all time, but I do need to use it up. But I have been using it basically every single day because I've been trying to use it up, of course, and I've just fallen in love with the formula and the color all over again, so I had to give it a little mention. So those are all of my favorites, but I do have two products to update you on. The first is the Bare Minerals Bare Pro Foundation. I did film an entire first impression and follow-up on this, which I'll have linked up above in case you would like to see a demo and wear test. And I want to give you my quick summed up thoughts on this foundation. I have the color number 3 Champagne, very fair with a yellow undertone. It's actually a tiny bit dark. In my video, I know I said it was light, a little dark, but I'm able to add a little bit of mixer, and it is absolutely perfect. I would say that you can get solid medium coverage out of this foundation. I did try building it up more on my cheeks, and I was still able to see redness showing through, so I feel like medium is the most you're gonna get, but it is a really great solid medium coverage, and it also has a satin finish, which I think is nice. Not too matte or too dewy, which I think makes this work well for a variety of skin types. Now, if you're you're super dry, I'm not sure. I don't think that this really clings to dry patches necessarily, but I did notice that this started to dry down kind of quickly. So I would recommend for everyone just applying one half of your face at a time and blending it out so you've got time to do so before it starts to dry down. And this is not the most mattifying foundation I've ever used, but this did control my oil pretty darn well throughout the day, so I was really happy with that. I didn't have to touch up too much. And another great thing is that this does not oxidize on me. I really hate when foundations do that. I also love the consistency of this. It is on the thinner side, but it's still able to build up to give a good coverage. And with that thin consistency, it blends super easily. But I would say apply it on some kind of mixing palette because it is so thin that it will run down your hand, and it can be a little bit messy depending on how you apply your foundation. But I really like that consistency overall, and it makes my face look more flawless, not heavy, not cakey. So I'm actually really impressed with this foundation. I think it is amazing. I'm gonna reach for it all the time. I wish it had a little bit more coverage, but I am happy with the coverage I'm able to get because once I put on concealer, powder, and all of my other makeup, it looks like I have a full coverage foundation on. So I'm really happy with this, and I would definitely recommend you guys check that out. My second item I have to update you on is the Wet n Wild Mega Last Hard as Ice top coat, and I picked this up off of recommendation of Cork Manicures on Instagram. She had tested out maybe 5 or 6 top coats, battled them out in different categories, and this was her favorite. And I'm pretty sure this only cost $3 or $4 from Walmart. And I really like that this has the paddle shape brush. I'm not sure if you guys can see, but it's a little bit wider, which means I can cover more of my nail. And I would have to say that this is not my favorite. I did notice that since I started using this, my nail polish is chipping a lot quicker. Also, it doesn't seem to fully dry down. It appears like it's dry, but I will often get sheet marks or my nails just look a little bit dull and not so shiny. So I'm going to continue using this for a bit, but I definitely plan on picking up the Glisten and Glow HK Girl top coat or going back to the Jolie G Quick Dry top coat, which I can find at Rite Aid. So I think I'm gonna go pick that up because I think it's only like $5 or so. Also pretty darn affordable. So I would say it's worth checking out because it is very inexpensive, and my nails are just super picky. So I was bummed that this didn't work for me, but I'm happy that there are other things that do that I can go back to. So lastly, I have my random favorites to share with you. The first thing would be Instagram Stories highlights. So I think I may have talked about Instagram Stories a couple months back and how I'm really enjoying that, but something I discovered, which I'm sure y'all know by now, is that you can actually save your stories to your profile as highlights that not only you can watch, but other people can view as well, which is fantastic because on Snapchat, unless they change something, you can save snaps, but only that you can see and then repost later. But I love having it on my profile like this that other people can see, and you can also put them into different categories. So when I found this out, I was super excited, but also really bummed because I was like, man, there were so many great stories I posted a while back that I would have loved to save to my profile. And as I was going through and adding pictures to my highlights, I saw this function called Archive. And I'm sure it does it for everyone, but at least for me, it let me go all the way back to my very first story, which for me was on New Year's Eve, I think. It let me go back that far and add things to my highlights, which I thought was amazing. I was so appreciative of that. And right now, I think I have highlights for Ulta deals, polls, random bits and bobs that are makeup related, and also organization. So if you would love to check out my Instagram story highlights, I would greatly appreciate it. I'll have my Instagram account linked down below, but that has just been so freaking fun. I introduced my husband to it. Now he has one all about the gym, but it's just a super cool function that I really appreciate. Then I have a couple YouTube video favorites from this month. All of them will be linked down below. The first is from my friend Karina, and she is doing 4 different seasonal project pans this year, but they are using Ipsy products, and she's been subscribed to Ipsy for quite some time. So I think for each of these projects, she is going through 3 different Ipsy bags, and she's either trying to hit pan, use up, or just use a product a certain number of times. So there are different goals for each item. And I'm sure that there have been some kind of subscription box project pans before, but I just think this is so fun and I thought it was a really creative, cool idea. So make sure you check out her videos. Then I just saw an awesome makeup collection and storage video from Rosita Applebum, who is stunning. And she's a huge beauty YouTuber, so of course she gets a ton of PR. She has a ginormous collection, but what I loved was her organization. And if you are an OCD organization freak like me, you will be amazed and so excited just watching her videos, seeing all of her amazing storage pieces. So check that out if you're interested. And then I have one other video. I don't know if I've mentioned it before, but it can't hurt to mention it twice. It's from my friend Danibo, and she has this new series that is a monthly series called In and Out, where she is showing you the things that she purchased that month as well as her empties for that month. And I think that is just a really cool way to combine those two video ideas. So guys, those are all of my favorites and product updates for the month of March. I would love to know your thoughts if you've tested out any of these items, and I would love to know what your favorites were this month as well. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye guys.